think it harmed us. I think torturing harmed us. I think it harmed our image in the world. I think the interrogations were in violation of the Geneva Conventions and the Convention Against Torture that we ratified under President Reagan. I think that these interrogations, once publicized, helped al-Qaeda recruit.
Senator John McCain speaking on CBS this weekend, coming out strongly in favor of investigating and potentially prosecuting Americans who committed torture. What's that? Very sorry. Actually, John McCain did say all those things this weekend on CBS about torture being wrong and bad for the country and illegal, but that was apparently his argument to not prosecute anyone.
We ought to go forward and not back. For us now to go back, I think would be a serious mistake. I think it's a mistake. I think in the future we'll find out it's a mistake.
It was illegal. It was awful that we did that. And we have to make sure that the people who did it get away with it. You know, because of his personal history as a prisoner of war, because of him being tortured and seeing the torture of his fellow prisoners in Vietnam, John McCain's change of heart since the presidential campaign to say now that Americans should not be held responsible for torture and mistreating prisoners is both hard to understand and it is politically important. What John McCain thinks about torture really matters in this country. A Bush Justice Department memo that was just released says CIA told Congress in 2007 that it wanted to use extended sleep deprivation, really extended sleep deprivation, keeping people awake for 6 days. The memo mentions Senator McCain by name, essentially bragging that he was one of the senators who was told about the sleep deprivation torture in advance. Quote, in those classified and private conversations, none of the members expressed the view that the CIA detention and interrogation program should be stopped or that the techniques at issue were inappropriate. Well, now Senator McCain's office is denying his role in that, saying that he told the CIA he was, quote, opposed to unduly coercive techniques, especially when used in combination or taken too far, including sleep deprivation. So again, this is a little awkward. The CIA brags that extreme sleep deprivation torture was on the up and up. Had to be. Even John McCain knew about it. McCain has spoken publicly many times specifically about sleep deprivation being torture and his obvious objections to torture. Now he's objecting to his name being used by the CIA to justify them doing it. And he still doesn't want any of this investigated? Joining us now is someone who has spent a lot of time trying to understand Senator John McCain. It's Anna Marie Cox, national correspondent for Air America and a contributor to Playboy magazine. Anna Marie, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you, Rachel.
After a campaign event in Iowa in 2007, John McCain said this. He said, after we passed the Detainee Treatment Act, the Military Commissions Act, both of those 2006, then obviously anybody who violated any law of the U.S. would have to be held responsible. That was Iowa 2007. Now it seems like he no longer thinks that. Do you have any insight into the change?
Well, I actually spent a long time on the phone with people in Senator McCain's office today trying to sort of get to the bottom of this. One thing I really feel like I should say is they're pushing back really hard on that CIA report that said that he okayed the sleep deprivation thing. And I remember him talking a lot about sleep deprivation and it being torture. So I have a really hard, on that one, for some reason, I'm not trusting the CIA. But wait,
hold on, let me stop you there. I think that's important, though. I mean, that's the important and interesting thing about it, because he's saying he doesn't want an investigation, but yet he's objecting to what the CIA is saying about him.
Well, actually, he doesn't want a prosecution. He doesn't want special prosecutors or the DOJ involved. There's actually right now, as I'm sure you know, a Senate Intelligence Committee investigation going on, and he fully supports that. There is a little puzzle about the lack of, responsibility part. If you have an investigation, you find out people did things that are wrong, then you would like to have something done about that, which he doesn't quite go that far. I don't think it's all his fault, though, I have to say, or that we should pin this all on him, that there's a backtracking here. As you well know, his position now is pretty much identical to Obama's, who also doubled back on his promise to prosecute torturers.
Sure, but the question is whether or not Senator John McCain is going to continue to be some sort of moral leadership on the issue of torture. And what I don't understand is to change change that very specific statement to say anybody who did anything illegal after the Detainee Treatment Act and the Military Commissions Act, so anybody who, say, wanted to sleep deprive somebody for 6 days in 2007, they would have to be held responsible. Now the CIA is saying that was kosher because John McCain signed off on it. He's going nuts about them saying that, but still isn't asking for any sort of criminal investigation. I don't understand this.
I don't understand either, and I have to say I don't think we've heard the last from McCain on this one. Again, like I got into a very heated argument with two different staffers today on this, who really wanted to emphasize that the senator has not changed his opinion on torture, and that's very clear from what he said on Face the Nation yesterday. Now, it is a question of what's happening going forward. To me, it's not useful to have a law if you don't wind up prosecuting it, right? Yeah. And I would think that's something that McCain believes as well. I don't know exactly like what the game. I don't want to say that there is a game being played, but definitely when I talked to his office today, there was a little bit of note of so told you so. To their voices when they pointed out that his position was the same as Obama's. They kept on wanting me to emphasize that rather than the fact that McCain seems to have changed his mind. And I have to say, well, that may be true, in which case I'm disappointed in both of them.
Right. I was going to say that says a lot less interesting about Obama than it does about John McCain, which is the thing I'm still trying to get to the bottom of it. It's good to know that there's a lot of energy in his office around this issue. I'd love to hear an explanation from them, I guess, on the change in his position. We'll try to get it from him, but so far he doesn't want to be on the show. We'll keep asking.
I'll keep asking, too.
All right. Thanks, Anna Marie. Anna Marie Cox is national correspondent for Air America, contributor to Playboy magazine. Great to see you. Thanks for your time tonight.